You need to understand what a virtual machine is, because a virtual machine is your agent's home, and your agent's home allows you to give your agent a task and have it work 24/7 around the clock with no user input. Does that sound good? Let's find out what a VM is. Virtual machine, easy. To put simply, a virtual machine, or you'll see a lot short written as VM, is just another computer, but another computer in the cloud. And the cloud is just a server room in Ohio. We know this, we've heard this before. It's just another machine, another computer that you rent to have your agent work in. Now, the thing about a VM is that the OS, or operating system, typically you can choose. You can see this example here. We have a virtual machine that's in Linux, one in Windows. In theory, you could do one in OS, like Mac OS, but in reality, most of your options are going to either be Linux or Windows. First, you need to understand, when you give your agent a little home, and to be honest with you, this is not only just for agents. I'm just going to make this video more tailored toward agents and VMs, because that's really what their use case is for the next 5, 10 plus years situation. When you give your agent a virtual machine that is in Linux, it can do a bunch of cool stuff, but it is still limited to the Linux OS. So what I mean by that is that, for example, if you were going to create a Mac OS native software and you wanted to, for example, create a new DAO, a new Logic Pro, you couldn't do it in a VM that's Linux. In theory, you could, but it couldn't check itself. The code itself couldn't compile correctly. Like, there is limitations depending on the virtual machine you choose for your agent, but it really just comes down to your use case. So why should you know what a VM is? Because of two major reasons. So let's come over here. Reason number one is that this is essentially 24/7 home situation that you always see people talk about online, where it's like, how is this agent running for 20 hours straight? Is because it is being ran typically on a VM. Now, one really great example of this is using something like cloud agents via Cursor. So you do cloud agents via Cursor. And one of the steps here that the cloud agents typically request from Cursor, and this works in all app building tools, I assume, is that it will ask you, hey, do you want to set up an environment for this cloud agent? Now, in reality, what it's asking you to do is, do you want to set up a virtual machine where your code is ran on so it can do tests live and send you videos back, screenshots back, like, hey, there's an issue, there's not an issue, like, this is the deliverable situation. So what a VM is in this context is extremely powerful, y'all, like almost too powerful. Because basically what's happening here in the entire industry for software engineering is that if you set up this environment, this cloud environment, this VM for your cloud agent, and you give it your repository, your code, your application. So we do app code here. Where the market is pushing towards is that you want to build out a new feature for your application. So maybe Thumbio, we build out a new tool for editing thumbnails. Who cares? Point being is that if I have this environment set up in this virtual machine and I give it my repository, in theory, we could have the agent run for however long it takes, and it could create more code. What's crazy here, y'all, is test the code, and then the end deliverable is a open PR, or like, hey, here's a new version of the application, check it out, and here's videos and images of me actually testing and running code on the application. So therefore, probably unlocking in your brain is that's why a virtual machine is extremely powerful, because you send off one request and you're just gone. Now, what you got to think about is that a VM is literally just your computer. So if we have my Mac here, like, my Mac is just a computer, right? My Mac could do, in theory, run the exact same code, do the same actions, and just proceed. All a VM here is literally just another, no, we're not going to say Mac because maybe it's not a Mac OS, but it's just another computer that we're renting and then having our agent do the task there, right? That's all it is, just duplication. But we're creating a siloed environment where the code that needs to be written or the tasks that need to be done are preset. And what I mean by that is that if you're familiar for the first time, you vibe coded in Claude Code or Codex, or when you were beginning your projects and you were running into situations where it's like, hey, I don't recognize this command, or hey, do you have Node.js installed, or what is Git? Like that situation when you initially set up everything and then you had to like install a bunch of dependencies for the code to actually work. A VM has it all pre-installed, right? It's already set up. The house is already built. Therefore, any actions past the house, adding an addition to the house, or whatever you're doing, all the dependencies are already installed. Like the environment's already running. You're not starting from scratch. And that's why VM becomes powerful for agents, because then if it's not starting from scratch, it's just go mode, which is important because in theory, well, Corbin, if your Mac can do the same thing, why don't you do it on your Mac? Because it is nice having a VM for one, for isolation. Like this is just a box, right? If things go crazy, who cares? It's in a server in Ohio. In addition, you can run other operating systems other than Mac, right? You can run Linux, you can run Windows, but I will say there's a little caveat there. Like, for example, when setting up cursor agents and maybe for other ones, like they only allow Linux. I couldn't even get Mac OS if I wanted to. So, and that has real implications, as I said earlier, because obviously an operating system, when it reads code, it reads code differently, right? Why am I writing in Swift for an Apple product, but then I could write in Flutter and then handles Android? And like, there's a reason languages exist in this context. So there's no universal language that's like applies to everything. So the point being is that in this context, know what you're building to know what VM environment to set. But then there are limitations where certain VMs for certain companies like Cursor, I can only choose a Linux VM in this context, which then you can think of is that you could run multiple VMs with the same code base and do different things, right? So let's see it in action. We are familiar with containers. If you're not, then you got to watch my Docker video, but Dockers are a huge role in this, right? Because Docker, what we remember from Docker and containers there is essentially we're taking a image and we're able to easily apply it to any of these VMs, like any of these computers, like here's the code, run it. So who cares? A lot of people. I think the real use case here is the specific use case of cloud agents. The idea here too is that in theory, you could test your application in other OSs here and other virtual machines. But in reality, I think the big thing for you to take away is that you use a VM when you want long running cloud agents to do certain tasks. On top of that, I can give you a very specific example of why I'm using a VM. I have a very small VM. And when I say small, I mean like the associated hardware on the actual virtual machine or literally the computer. This is the big thing, right? So when you set up a virtual machine, you're going to be selecting hardware things like how many gigs of RAM? Is it like 16 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of RAM? Like what's the GPU, CPU? What's the like terabyte size? Like everything of this nature, essentially you're speccing out what kind of computer you want to rent, which has implications, right? Because if you get an absolute beast of a computer that you're renting, it's going to be more expensive. So depending on what you're trying to actually achieve, you could probably opt for like a very like potato sized computer situation. Point being is that one specific example I'm doing is I have a very small VM and I have this in GCP. I installed OpenClaw and then I have like really limited things I have OpenClaw doing for me right now that I'm just like letting it go. And I'm paying mostly for processing and a little bit for AI costs, but that's just an example of like a virtual machine where it's like an always on agent that I personally use via GCP for very specific things that I care about. Oh my gosh, Corbin, that sounded so ambiguous. Okay, let me help you out then. All right, come to Thumbio. Here's a very specific thing I have it doing. These tweets here come from that VM from GCP OpenClaw, where it's like doing things to get engagement for the thumbnail software I created. This is all automatic, all via that virtual machine I rent in GCP. So that's it. That's a virtual machine. How do you want to understand virtual machines? Think of it like you're renting a computer, and then also think of it like this is where my agent can do things for infinite amount of time as long as you're willing to pay the rent cost of that virtual machine. So without further ado, make sure to leave a like. I'll see you in the next. Did Corey just explain as simple as possible what a VM is and why VMs are very important for software development? Also, why agents love VM situation type of video.